Hello students, I am here to teach you chapter 7 in your textbook that's called Factors of Quadratic Expressions. Before we start quadratic expressions, we need to see what are factors. So for that we'll take a number 24. Number 24. So we'll try to write down 24 in terms of two numbers. So we'll see, okay, how can we write down 24? I can take 24 as product of 1 and 24. What are the other factors? We can write 24 in terms of 2 and 12. 2 times 12. Again, I can write 24 in terms of 3. 3 times 8. Now try with another number. So I can write 24 in terms of 4. 4 times 6. Again, do you have any more factors? With 5, no, it's not divisible by 5. Again 6. 6 times 4. So 4 times 6 is same as 6 times 4. So here we can write down 24 as 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. So here we'll see, according to the definition of factors, it says when we multiply whole numbers and if you are getting the same number, those are factors. Now here we multiplied 1 with 24, 2 with 12, 3 with 8 and 4 with 6 and we got 24. So what are factors here? If we want factors of 24, what we can write? We can write factors of 24 as we can write 1, what else? 2, 3, 4 is there, 6, 8, 12 and 24. So here if somebody asks what are the factors of 24, we can write all these numbers. So out of these, so what are prime factors? So we need to know what our prime factors are. We know what are prime numbers? Only divisible by 1 and itself. So here, what are the prime numbers here in this? We can see 2 and 3. So if you want to find out prime factors of 24, we can write down only 2 and 3. So here, what you need to do? You need to know what are the factors of any number and what are the prime factors are. Now we'll take another number. Let's take 36. What do you think? What are the factors? I can write 1 times 36. What else? 2 times 18. 3 times 12. 4 times 9. Can you multiply by 5? No, it's not divisible. Again, I can write 6 times 6. So here, how can we write down the factors of 36? I can write factors of 36 are 1, 2, 3, 4 and again 9, 12, 18 and 36. If we want the prime factors of 36, what are the prime factors in this? We can see 2 and 3. So if you want prime factors, of 36, we can write 2 and 3. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, we want to see what our common factors are. So we'll take these two numbers, 12 and 30. What are the factors of 12 and 30? So we'll take 12. How can we write down 12? We can write down 2 and 6. And if we can find out another number, you can write divide by 2 again. You get 3. So here either you can write 2 and 6. What's the other number? I can divide by 3 as well. I can write 3 with what? 3 times 4. Again, it's divisible by 4 as well. 4 times 3. So no need to write it again. So 3 times 4 or 4 times 3. So here, if you take 30, it's divisible by 2. So you can write 2 with 15. It's divisible by 3. 3 with 10. What else? Is it divisible by 4? No. What about 5? 5 times 6. Then 10. What about 10? It's divisible by 10. 10 times 3. But it's already there. No need to write down. What else? What are the other factors? 15 we already took. And what about 30? 30 times 1. So here when we can write down the factors, so you can write 2 times 15 or 3 times 10, 5 times 6 or 30 times 1. If I write separately factors of 12, what are the factors of 12? I can write starting from 1, 2, 3, 4 and 6 and the last number 12. If I take factors of 30, what are the factors of 30 here? I can write starting with 1, 2, 3 and 4 is not there, 5, 6. What else? I can see 10, 15 and 30. Now look at carefully and see what are the common factors. Common factors means if you can see the same number in both, we call those are common factors. So what are the common factors here? I can see 2 is common and also 1 is common. 3 is common. 6 is common. So here I can write 1, 2, 3, 6 are common factors. Then if I ask you what's the greatest common factor out of these, the largest number here. So what's the largest number here? 6. So we call greatest common factor is number 6. Now we'll take another example. What are the common factors for 44 and 66? So let's take common factors for 44. Definitely 1 is a common factor. It's divisible by 2. It's divisible by 4. Again, divisible by 11 and also divisible by 22 and the last number is 44. Now we'll take number 66. What are the factors of 66? 1 is a factor, 2 is a factor, it's divisible, and 3, what else? You get 11. Then we can see 22 is a factor, and also 33 and 66. Now these are the factors of 44 and 66. If I want the common factors of these two numbers, we can find out the numbers that are common to 11 and 22. So what are the common factors? So I can write common factors are 1, 2, 11 and 22. Then what's the greatest common factor? Greatest common factor is 22. So we take the largest factor. Now we'll take some more examples. So if we want to find out factors of greatest common factor of A and AB, what we do? We can see what are the factors of A? 1 and A. What are the factors of AB? We can say A times B, 1 times AB. Now here we need to find out what are the common factors. So we can see A is common to both of these expressions. Here we can write greatest common factor is A. We'll take next example, x squared y. What are the factors of x squared y? I can write xy with x. If I take xy squared, I can write xy with y. What about this one, x squared y squared? I can write xy with xy. So when you multiply these two, you get the x squared y squared. Now look at carefully and tell me what's the common factor. I can see xy is a common factor and this is called greatest common factor. Now we'll take another one, 3a times x plus 2. I can write this one as 3a times x plus 2. This one, I can write 7b with x plus 2. Now, look at carefully and tell me what's the common factor. I can see x plus 2 is the common factor. So here, greatest common factor for these two expressions is x plus 2. Now we'll take one more example, 5a with a minus 3b. So I can write this one as 5a, a minus 3b. What about this one? 7y and a minus 3b. I can write 7y, a minus 3b. Now, see what are the common factors? This is common. So I can write greatest common factor for these two numbers, a minus 3b. Now we'll take expressions like this. So here we get a negative sign. So we'll try to expand this. So what can I write? Instead of this, I can write minus b. Minus into minus becomes plus, plus a. So when I rearrange this, I can write a minus b. Let's take this one. I can again expand this and write down minus y plus x, or rearrange this and I can write as x minus y. Now look at carefully what happens here. So these two letters switched each other. So B first earlier, second A. Now A comes first and B second. So here also x first and then y. So here when you have a negative sign with an expression, you can write the same thing as switching the two letters, but it is positive now. Positive A minus B. Now by looking at this, what can I write? I can write M first and then N, and this becomes positive. So when you get any negative expression, you can change the letters by taking another minus sign. So the sign changes here and we are switching the letters. So we'll take these expressions. When you take this one, to find out the common factors, here A and B not common, but look at this bracket. M minus N and N minus M. Same letters are there, but the order is not the same. So what we can do, we can write the same thing as B and M minus N, and we have to take a minus sign. So what's the greatest common factor now? I can write M minus N. Now let's take this one. Here B minus 3Q and 3Q minus B. We see that the sign is different. So here what we can do, I can take a minus sign and write this one as B minus 3Q. That minus and this minus becomes plus. So what's the greatest common factor here? I can write B minus 3Q is the greatest common factor. Now look at this one. Here we can't see factors. So what we can do, we can write down here. I can write down 3x plus 3y as 3n x plus y. What about this one? I can write a with x plus y. So what's the common factor? X plus y. So here I can write greatest common factor as x plus y. Now we'll take another example. A squared minus ab and ax minus bx. So here look at carefully and see what's the factor here. I can see a is common, take it out. What is the remaining part? I can write as a minus b. What about this one? Here x is common. I can take x out. What's remaining? A minus b. Now look at carefully these two expressions. A minus b is common to both of these expressions. So a minus b is the greatest common factor. Now we'll see what are the rules in factorization. So in factorization, you have to take the common terms out. Now look at the first example. So here simple one is given. So here look at carefully and write down what's the common factor is. I can see A is common and you can take it out and write down the remaining letters inside the bracket. So here when you take A out, what's remaining? I can write X, I can write Y here. So here these are the factors of AX plus AY. Now in this expression already factors given. You have to see what is the common factor. So here in these two expressions I can see 2A plus 3 is common to both of these. So what is remaining? If I take this one, what is remaining? You get X plus 5Y. We'll take another example. Here in step 3, you have given two expressions and look at carefully. Here it's given x minus 3y, but the other one is 3y minus x. Those are not common. So what you can do, you can rewrite this in terms of x minus 3y. So what you have to do, I can switch the two letters and take minus out. So when I take minus out, I can write this is plus 7q. But you can write the other one as it is. So now I can see x minus 3y is common. Take it out. What's remaining? 2p plus 7q. Now here in the step 4, you have given 4 terms. First thing, we can take 2 at a time and try to factorize. So what are the common terms to 2a and minus 6b? I can see 2 is common. Take it out. What's remaining? A minus 3b. Now look at these two. What's common? I can see x is common. So I'll take plus x value. So what's remaining? A minus 3b. Now I can see a minus 3b is common. I can take it out and write down the remaining factors inside. So I can write 2 plus x inside. Now we'll look at the review exercise in your textbook. So in the first question it says write each of the following algebraic expressions as a product of its factors. So here look at carefully and try to find out the common factors. 3 and 12. I can see 3 is common. Take it out. What's remaining? X plus 4. Why this is 4? 3 times 4 you get 12. So here factors are 3 times x plus 4. What about this one? I can see p is common. Take it out. What's remaining? P squared is p times p. So I have already taken one p. You can write another p there. So p is already taken. So p we can write p times 1. I took p out. So what's remaining? 1 here. So I can write p times p minus 1. Now look at this question. What's common? X is common to both of these and I can take it out. What's remaining? X plus 3y. This one, 2 is common. I can see a is also common. I can take it out. So when I take 2a out, what's here? What's remaining here? I can write 2a as 2a times 1. So I have taken 2a out, so 1 is remaining. And the sign is minus. What's the other term? I have taken 2 out. 2 is remaining, 1a out, 1a remaining. So I can write 2a times 1 minus 2a. Look at this one. I can see 1p is common and 1q is common to both of these expressions. So when I take 1p out, 1p is remaining. What about this one? I took pq out. So I have to write 1 there. We'll look at this question. I can see 2 is common, 1p is common and another q is common. When I take 2pq out, you get 1 minus here you get 2, 1p there. Now we'll look at the next part. What's common here? What can you see? 1, n is common. When I take n out, you get 3m squared inside plus 1 n. In this question, 2 is common and 1a is common. So when I take 2a out, 1a is remaining and 2b from this one. Now we have in this question, we have 3 terms. Look at this question. Now there are 3 terms. Now see what are the common terms for all of these 3 terms. I can see 2 is common. So when I take 2 out, what is remaining? A squared and here 2 times 4. So I get 4 to get 8 and ab. And what about the last term? I get b squared. Now look at the next part. 3 terms are there. I can see 5, 10, 15. 5 is common. X squared. In all 3 terms, I can take it out. What's remaining? 1 minus. When you take 5x squared from this, I get 2y squared. And what about the third term? I can write minus 3y because I have taken 5x squared out. Now, in this question, what are the common factors? 3, 6, 6. 3 is common. I can see here x squared, but here last term only x. So that means 1x is common. Y squared, y squared. Only y term is common. When you take 3xy out, what's remaining? From here you get x. From here 2 and xy. What about the last one? I have taken 3 out, 2y is remaining. Now look at the last one. A squared bc, ab squared c and abc squared. So here a is common. B is also common and also c. I can take abc out. When I take abc out, what's remaining? A remaining from the first term, B remaining from the second term and C remaining from the third term. Now we'll look at part B. 2 expressions given and we can see A plus B is common. So we can take A plus B out. What's remaining? I can see x plus y remaining to these 2 expressions. Part B, 3x plus y, 3x plus y. So that means 3x plus y is common. Take it out. What's remaining? 2a minus b. This one, 2a minus 3b and 2a minus 3b. So I can take 2a minus 3b out. What's remaining? P from here and plus q from this one. Part D, here this expression is not factorize. So here first thing you have to factorize this one. So here what are the common factors to these two expressions? I can see y is common and I'll take minus y out. So when I take minus y out, you get x and 3. What's the sign in between? I have taken minus out. So this should be minus. So now I can write the whole expression like this. Now see what are the common factors. Here I can see x minus 3 is common. Take it out. What's remaining? 2 minus y. Now we'll look at the next part. Here also not factorize. So here what's the first thing you can do? Factorize. So 3 is common. Take it out. What's remaining? b plus 1. Then you can write this expression as it is. And now look at the common factors. b plus 1 is common. Take it out. What's remaining? 3 plus a. Part F, you have to factorize separately. So when you get 4 terms, what's the method? We take 2 at a time. So I'll take first 2 and last 2 separately and try to factorize. So here I can see x is common. Take it out. What's remaining? X minus y. In this one, plus 4 is common. Take it out. You get x minus y. Now you get 2 expressions and x minus y is common to both of these, and what's remaining? X plus 4. In this question, again 4 terms. So what we do? Take 2 at a time and try to factorize. I can see a is common. Take it out. What's remaining? A minus 2b. So this one, I can see 5 is common, but I'll take minus 5 out. So when I take minus 5 out, I get a and 2b. What's the sign here? I took minus out. So you get minus because minus into minus becomes plus. Now a minus 2b is common. Take it out. What's remaining? A minus 5. The last part, again 4 terms. Take 2 at a time. I can see m is common. Take it out. What's remaining then? 1 minus 3n. Here n is common. I'll take minus n out. Then I get 1 minus 3n. 1 minus 3n is common. What's the remaining part? You get m minus n. Now we'll see the second question. So here in this second question, factor the expressions given below them accordingly. So here some steps are given. So we need to fill in blanks. So here already done. Here what we can write here. Can you see the sign has changed here, plus to minus. That means you need to switch the 2 numbers. So 2x comes first and y second. Now we can see 2x minus y is common. Take it out. What is remaining? A minus b. Now what about this one? We have to fill this one, the sign. Now look at carefully. Earlier it was b minus a, now a minus b. So that means the sign should be changed. So minus sign we need to write as positive. Then a minus b already taken. So what's remaining? P plus q. In this question, 2p minus q, but here q minus 2p. So what we have to do? You have to switch. So we'll write it again. we'll take plus y and then switch the two terms, 2p minus q. Now we can see 2p minus q is common, take it out. What's remaining? X plus y. Look at the next question. So here 2a minus b and the other one b minus 2a. So we have to switch the two terms. So what we can do, we write the first term as it is and the second term we switch. So what happens to the sign? Sign becomes minus 2y and this becomes 2a minus b. Now we can see 2a minus b is common, take it out. And what's remaining? 3x minus 2y. Now we'll look at the next part. 1l minus 2n in the first one and 2n minus l in the next one. So we have to change the sign. So we'll write the first one as it is and switch these two. So when you are switching, remember to change the sign. So this becomes plus p l minus 2n. So now we can see l minus 2n is common and the remaining part is m plus p. Look at the next question. 2x plus y, y plus 2x. Now this is not negative. So when you get addition, 2 plus 3 is same as 3 plus 2. So here we can see these two terms are the same. You can just write down as it is. You don't need to change the sign. So I can write 2x plus y here. Now 2x plus y, take it out. Remaining part is k minus l. Now this one, x plus 3y here, minus x minus 3y. So we can take minus out from this. So we'll write the first one as it is and then take minus from this one. So minus and minus becomes plus b. So what's remaining? You get x plus 3y. Now x plus 3y is common. So when you take x plus 3y out, what's remaining? You get a plus b. Now take the last part, m minus 2n and 2n minus m. Here we can see we need to change the sign. So what we have to do, you write the first term as it is, but the second term we change the sign. So this becomes minus d and switch the terms, m minus 2n. So m minus 2n is common, take it out and b minus d is remaining. Now we'll see what are trinomial quadratic expressions. What is tri means? 3. So you get 3 terms and what is quadratic means? You get x squared term. So here I'll write an expression like this, ax squared plus bx plus c. So here you get x squared term, x term and a constant. We call this one as a constant. So when you get 3 terms like this, we call these are trinomial quadratic expressions. So you need to remember when you see the word quadratic, that means x squared term should be there. So a, b and c are numbers but not equal to 0. So non-zero numbers. We call a as the coefficient of x squared term. Coefficient. So what's b now? That's the coefficient of x term. And c is the constant. Now we'll take any quadratic expression. I can take 7x squared plus 5x minus 3. Here x squared term is there, x term and a constant there. So what is a? Compare these two. The number in front of x squared is a. I can write a equals 7. What's b? The number in front of x. That's called the coefficient of x. I can write plus 5. What's the constant term now? Minus 3. I'll take another example. 8y squared minus 5y plus 7. What's a value? A value is the number in front of the squared term. So here a is 8. What's b? b is minus 5 and c is 7. So when you get a trinomial quadratic expression, you need to identify what is the value of a, b and c. Now we'll see how we can find the factors of trinomial quadratic expression. So here we can see 3 terms are there, and one is x squared term, the other one is x term, and the next one is the constant term. So the first thing you have to do, you have to write this in order. First we write the x squared term, then the x term and the constant. Now earlier we factorized expressions when we have 4 terms. How did we do that? We took first 2 separately and last 2 separately. So we need to think about how to factorize 3 terms. So the main idea is to split the middle term into 2 terms. Therefore, you get 4 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then when you get 4 terms, you know how to factorize. Take first 2 separately and last 2 separately. Now to do that, we multiply these 2 numbers together. So here x squared into 12, you get 12x squared. And now we need to see what are the factors of 12x squared, and when you add the factors, you should get the middle term. Now here in this example, you need to check how to get 7x. First see what are the factors of 12. I can write 1 and 12. So x squared is, I can write x and x. What are the other factors? I can write 2 with 6, 3 with 4, 6 with 2, 2 with 6 same. So here this is plus. So here how you get plus value? Both should be plus or both should be minus. Look at carefully the middle term. That's plus. When you add the numbers, you should get plus 7x. So what's the suitable factors to get 7x here? 1x and 12x becomes 13x. 2x and 6x, 8x. 3x and 4x. Yes, we can see that when you take 3x and 4x, you get 7x. So those are the 2 factors that we need to select to factorize this expression. So what we can do, we can rewrite this as 3x plus 4x plus 12. Now we have 4 terms. What we do? Take first 2 separately, last 2 separately and factorize. What is the common term here? I can see x is common. Take it out. You can write x plus 3. What is common to both of these 2 terms? Plus 4 is common. Take it out and write down the remaining part. Remaining part is x plus 3. Now you get 2 expressions. X plus 3 is common. Take it out and we write the remaining part inside the bracket. So what you get? X plus 4. So that's how we factorize when you get trinomial quadratic expressions. So in this example, the first term, the second term and the third term both positive. Now we'll take another example in step 2. Here what's the difference between this one and the previous one? Earlier both these two terms were positive. Now the middle term is negative and the last term is positive. But we are following the same procedure. We multiply these two, x squared and 12, you get 12x squared. Now see what are the factors to get plus 12x squared. But when you add the two factors, you should get minus 7x. So here we'll take 1 and 12. But what happens here? We can't take positive because the middle term is negative. So we can take minus 1 and minus 12. But you are not getting minus 7. What about minus 3 and minus 4? You get plus 12. I'll write x and x here because we need 12x squared. Now here we can see we need minus 7x. How can we split it? We can split it using minus 3x and minus 4x. So I can write instead of minus 7x, minus 3x and minus 4x for this question. Then take first two separately, last two separately and factorize. I can take x out, x minus 3 is remaining. Here I can take minus 4 out. What's remaining? X and 3. What's the sign here? I have taken minus sign out, so this should be minus. So here x minus 3 again common. I can take it out. What's remaining? X minus 4. Now look at this third one in step 3. X squared plus 9x minus 22. Earlier the middle term was negative and the third term was positive. Now other way round. Now we use the same procedure. We multiply these two. Now we are getting minus 22x squared. To get a minus sign, one should be positive and the other one should be negative. So what are the factors of 22? You get 1 and 22 or 2 with 11. Now this is minus, so we need to put minus sign in one of those. Okay, we'll put minus 1 with plus 22. Or I can write 1 with minus 22 as well. When you take 2 and 11, I can write minus 2 with plus 11. Or I can write 2 with minus 11. Now we need to find out when you add the two factors, you should be getting this plus 9x. So how can we get plus 9x? Plus 22 minus 1 is 21. 11 minus 2 is 9. 1 minus 22 is minus 21. 2 minus 11 is minus 9. So which one is suitable now? To get plus 9, we have to choose minus 2 and plus 11. So we are splitting the middle term into 11x minus 2x. And then you can write minus 22. Now 4 terms are there. Take first two separately and last two separately. So what can you say? Take x out. X is remaining and 11 is remaining. Now here minus sign is common. We can take it out with 2x. X is not common. So here we can take only 2. So what's remaining? X and 11. But what's the sign here? We have taken minus sign out. So this becomes plus. Now again we can see x plus 11 is common. Take it out and remaining part is x minus 2. So we did 3 steps. Now we'll look at the 4th step. So what's the difference now? Both the two terms are negative. But we follow the same procedure. We multiply these two. You get minus 22x squared. And see what are the factors for minus 22. So what are the factors? 22 times 1. And you get 11 and 2. What else? You get only those two. But the last term is minus. So you need to take one negative and one positive. So I'll take this one negative and this one positive. So I can write the same factors with opposite sign. I can take 11 to 1 is negative, 1 is plus. Take the same thing with opposite sign. And now see whether you are getting the middle term. Middle term is minus 9. So minus 22 plus 1 is minus 21. Minus 11 plus 2, minus 9. Plus 22 minus 1, 21. 11 minus 2, plus 9. Now what's the middle term? Middle term is minus. So which one is suitable? We have to select minus 11 and plus 2. So what we do? We take the middle term and split it to minus 11x and plus 2x. And then what you do? Take 2 at a time. In this one, x is common. Take it out. Remaining part is minus x minus 11. Take these two separately. Plus 2 is common. Take it out. X minus 11. Now we can see x minus 11 is common. Take it out and write down x plus 2. So in this case, we get x minus 11 and x plus 2. So when you observe this, here look at this example. Last one is negative and the middle term is negative. So here when you take the two factors, the largest number is negative. When we look at previous example, in this one, last one is negative, the middle term is positive. So what's the largest number there? The largest number is positive. When you take the second example, last one is positive and the previous one is negative. So you get same sign. In the first example, both positive, you get positive for the two terms. So when you look at carefully, first step, we got both positive. Second step, we got the middle term negative and this one is positive. Third step, middle term is positive and the third term is negative. And the fourth step, we got both negative. So what did you identify? When you get last term positive, this should be both minus or both plus. So if the second term is plus, you have to select both positive. So here we are adding the two numbers. Here also, if you are getting plus value, that means both should be negative. Negative number, adding a negative number, the middle term is negative. So in these both cases, what happens? We are adding two terms. Either plus with plus or minus minus. What happens here? When the last digit is minus, you get plus and minus term. So here if this is plus, the second term is plus, that means the largest number should be positive. if the second term is negative, that means the largest number should be negative. Then we take the difference between the two terms. Difference between the two terms. So here in this third case, plus the largest value and negative the smallest. In the other one, what happens when you want negative? That means negative should be the largest value and this should be the other number should be positive. So remember that and try to do the examples. So we'll take the next example. It says a squared minus 8a plus 2. Now we'll look at the signs. The middle term is negative and the last term is positive. Last term is positive means you can get either two positive values or two negative values. But the middle term is negative. So that means definitely you have to take two negative numbers. So what are the factors of 12 to get minus 8? So here try all factors and try to find out when you add the two factors that should be minus 8. 1 times 12. You are not getting minus 8. What about 2 and 6? Try with that 2 and 6. So when you take 2 and 6, we can see this is minus, both should be minus. Minus 2 and minus 6, you are getting minus 8. So when you practice this, you don't need to write down all the factors. Straight away, you can identify what's the suitable one. So here in this case, we can straight away take these are the most suitable factors for minus 8a. So what we do, a squared, and instead of minus 8a, I can write minus 2a and minus 6a plus 12. Then what we do, take 2 at a time and factorize. I can take a out, a minus 2. From this, I can take minus 6 out. You get a minus 2. Again here, a minus 2 is common, take it out. And a minus 6 is remaining. In this example, both negative. Last number negative means the two numbers that you are getting should be one positive and one negative. But minus, the middle term is negative means the largest number should be negative. So what are the factors of minus 8? You can say 1 with 8, 2 with 4. But you are getting minus 8. So one should be negative. Either this or this. Now I told you middle term is negative means the largest number should be negative. So what's the largest one out of 1 and 8? This one. So we take this one negative and this one positive. So this is the suitable one. So we can split the middle term as 1x and minus 8x. Now take 2 at a time and try to factorize. X is common, take it out. What's remaining? X plus 1. What's remaining here when you take minus 8? X plus 1. Why? I took minus out. Now x plus 1 is common, take it out. What's remaining? X minus 8. Now we'll look at example number 3. Now here in this example, this is slightly different. You get minus x squared as the first term. Now I'll teach you two methods here. Keep minus x squared as it is and do the calculation. So what you do, you multiply these two, you get minus 6x squared. What are the factors of minus 6? The middle term is minus 1x. So last term is positive means both digits should be pluses or minus. Middle term minus means you should get both negative. So here, what are the factors? 1 with 6, 2 with 3. When you add the factors, you should get minus 1. I told you how you get minus sign here. Minus 6, you need to take one number negative. So here, I'll put this one negative and this one positive. What happens here? The largest number is positive and the smallest number is negative. But the middle term is negative. So which one we should take? Large number should be negative. So I can take plus 2 and minus 3. So I can split this into plus 2x minus 3x plus 6. Take 2 at a time. I can take minus x out. What's remaining? I get x minus 2. Here I can take minus 3 out and write down x minus 2. So x minus 2 is remaining and I can write minus x minus 3. So what we can do here both minus, you don't need to write like this. I can take minus out. So instead I can write minus x minus 2 and this becomes x plus 3. Again, I can put this minus sign inside the brackets. So when I put this one inside, what I am getting? I am getting 2 minus x here. Switch the two terms. So 2 minus x and x plus 3. So I want to teach you another method. When you get minus x squared, so I want to take this one last. So what I can do, I can rewrite the question as 6 first and the middle term as it is and switching the first term to last. So I get minus x squared. Now same thing, you need factors of minus 6x squared and you are getting the same factor. So what I can do, I can write 6 here and instead of plus minus 1x, I can write plus 2x minus 3x minus x squared. Take 2 at a time. 2 is common, take it out. 3 plus x minus x is common, take it out. 3 plus x. Now I can see 3 plus x is common, take it out and 2 minus x is remaining. So here we can see you are getting the same answer. Now we'll look at example number 4. So here what are the three terms? A squared, 4ab and 5b squared. So first thing, you multiply these two, you are getting 5a squared b squared. You need to find out the factors of 5a squared b squared. So here last term is minus. So that means the two factors are, one is positive and one is negative. So here minus sign in the middle means the largest factor should be negative. So what are the factors? I can write 5ab and 1ab. But this is negative. So you can take this one as negative because the middle term is negative. So here minus 5 and plus 1, you are getting minus 4. So this is the suitable factor. So here what can you write? You can split the middle term to minus 5ab plus 1ab minus 5b squared as the last term. Take 2 at a time and factorize. A is common, take it out. Remaining is a minus 5b. In this one, what's common? Plus b is common. and a minus 5b remaining. Again, two expressions, a minus 5b common and a plus b remaining. So these are the factors of this expression. We'll take the next one, 2x and 7x. What's the product? Product means multiply. 2 times 7, 14, x into x, 14x squared. Sum, 2x plus 7x becomes 9x. Then here, when you multiply minus 5x and x, you get minus 5x squared. When you add minus 5 and plus 1, you get minus 4x. What about this one? Minus 3a and minus 7a. When you multiply, minus minus becomes plus. You get 21a squared. When you add it together, you get minus 10a. This one, minus p and minus 5p. When you multiply, you get 5p squared. When you add it together, minus 1 and minus 5 becomes minus 6p. This one, when you multiply 2 and minus 8, you get minus 16. M and n twice, you get m squared, n squared. When you add it together, 2 minus 8 becomes minus 6 mn. Now here the product is given and you have to find the pair of algebraic terms. So minus 4x squared, I can write 4x with minus x. Why? This is plus 4x and minus x. The sum is given plus 3x. So 4 minus 1 is 3. So this one, the product is minus 7x squared and the sum is 6x. So here, when you write down the two terms, you can write 7 and x. 7x and x, but which one you need to write negative? To get 6x, you need to write this one negative because 7 minus 1 becomes positive 6. Now look at the next one. You have given minus 3a as the sum and minus 10a squared as the product. So here, what are the two numbers you have to write? Not 10 and 1 because the sum is minus 3. So what are the terms? You should get 5a and 5 times 2, 2a. Now which one is positive? You are getting minus 3. So that means the biggest number should be negative. So minus 5a and 2a. Now this one 8p squared and 6p as the sum. So what are the factors of 8? 8 you can write 4p and 2p. Now both are positive and you are getting positive 6p as the sum. Now we'll look at the second question. In second question, you are asked to factorize the trinomial quadratic expressions. What are trinomial? 3 terms, 1x squared term, 1x term and the constant. So we'll look at the factors of the constant term. So here 1 and this one, when you multiply, you get 8x squared. So here plus 6. What are the factors of 8x squared to get plus 6? So here straight away you can write 4x and 2x because when you add 4x and 2x you get 6x. So we split into two terms, 4x and 2x, and then take 2 at a time and factorize. So here we see x plus 4 there. When you take 2 out, again x plus 4. X plus 4 is common. Take it out and remaining part is x plus 2. In this question, plus 15. So when you multiply these two together, 15a squared. And this is plus. The middle term is negative means you have to take both negative. So what are the appropriate factors? So we can see minus 5a and minus 3a. Split it to two terms. You can write minus 3a and minus 5a. Instead of minus 8a, take first two separately, last two separately, and you can write a minus 3, minus 5, take it out, a minus 3. So a minus 3, you can take it out and write a minus 5. Now third one, plus 12 and the middle term is plus 8. That means both factors are plus. So 12 times p squared is 12p squared. Find out the two factors. What are the two factors of 12? 6 and 2. 6p and 2p. Both should be plus because the middle term is plus 8. So we can split the middle term to 6p and 2p and take 2 at a time and factorize. So here p plus 6 is remaining. When you take 2 out, p plus 6 is common, take it out, and remaining part is p plus 2. Now when you take this one, last one is plus and the middle term is negative. So how can you get middle term negative with the last one positive? Both should be negative. So what are the factors? So you get 21x squared. What are the factors of 21? 7 and 3. So both should be negative to get negative 10. So split the middle term to minus 7x minus 3x plus 21. Take first two separately, last two separately, and we can take x out, x minus 7 remaining, minus 3 out, x minus 7 remaining. Here again x minus 7 is common, take it out, and x minus 3 is common. Now we'll take the next one. Last one is positive, middle term is also positive. So that means the factor is also positive. So 24m squared. What are the factors of 24 to get 11? 8 times 3. So 8m and 3m both should be positive because the middle term is positive. So split the middle term to 8m and 3m and then take two terms separately. M is common, take it out, m plus 8 remaining. Plus 3 is common, take it out, m plus 8 is remaining. Now we can see m plus 8 is common and m plus 3 remaining. Now look at the last one. Plus 18 and middle term is minus 11. I told you last term is positive means you have to take both negative or both positive. Middle term negative means this should be both negative. So what's the number? 18y squared. What are the factors of 18 to get minus 11? 9 and 2. So here both terms should be negative. So we can write minus 9y and minus 2y. So we can split the middle term, minus 9y and minus 2y, and then take 2 at a time. Y is common, take it out, y minus 9. Minus 2 is common, take it out, y minus 9. Y minus 9 is common again. The remaining part is y minus 2. Now we'll look at the next question. So 14 as the last digit and plus 15. So what are the factors of 14 in square? Both should be positive because the middle term is positive. So what are the factors of 14? Plus 14 and plus 1. Split the middle term. So I can write instead of 15, I have to write 14 and 1. Now take two terms separately. You can take n out, remaining part is n plus 14. And you can take 1 out, n plus 14. Now, n plus 14 is common, take it out, and the remaining part is n plus 1. The next part, plus 30, and the middle term is minus 17. So that means you have to select both negative product. So here, how you get 30x squared? This should be 15 and 2. But we know that the middle term is negative, so you get minus 15 and minus 2. So here split the middle term into 2, you get minus 15x minus 2x plus 30. Take 2 at a time, take x out, remaining part is x minus 15, minus 2 take it out, x minus 15, x minus 15 is common, and remaining part is x minus 2. Now look at the next one, 49, and the middle term is 14. So this should be positive. Why? The middle term is positive. So what are the factors of 49? We can say 7a and 7a. So split the middle term to 7a and 7a and take 2 at a time. I can take a out and write a plus 7. I can take 7 out, a plus 7. A plus 7 is common. Take it out. What's remaining? Another a plus 7. When you look at this one, last term is positive, second term is negative. So last term is positive means both should be negative to get negative middle term. So what are the factors of 35p squared? This should be 7 and 5. So you can write 7p and 5p, but both negative. Split the middle term to minus 7p and 5p, and then take first two separately, last two separately. P is common, take it out, you get p minus 7. Minus 5 is common, take it out, p minus 7. Now p minus 7 is common, take it out, and the remaining one is p minus 5. Now when you take the next one, minus 20, and the middle term is plus 8. Last term is negative means one should be positive and the other one should be negative. But plus 8 as the middle term means the highest number should be positive. So here you get minus 20p squared. What are the factors of minus 20? So 10 and 2. So you can write 10p and 2p. But how we decide which one is positive? The biggest number should be positive to get positive 8p. Now split the middle term to 10p and minus 2p. Take 2 at a time and factorize. So I can take p out, p plus 10, and I can take minus 2 out, p plus 10. Now p plus 10 is common, take it out, and the remaining part I can write p minus 2. Now look at the last one. Minus 10 and middle term is minus 3. So how can we get minus 10? So the last term minus 10x squared. So here last term minus means one should be positive and the other one should be negative. The middle term is negative means the larger number should be negative. So what are the factors of minus 10? You can write 5 and 2. But because the middle term is negative, you can say minus 5 and plus 2x. So split the middle term to minus 5x and plus 2x, and then take 2 at a time. We can write x minus 5 take 2 here, you get x minus 5. X minus 5 is common, take it out, you can get x minus 5 and x plus 2. So now we see, always look at the last digit sign and the middle term sign. Now we'll take this one. Last number is minus, middle term is plus. So what we do? Take this one. What are the factors of minus 20 to get 1p? So what are the factors? You need to select the suitable factors. So here 5 and 4. But how we decide the sign? 1 should be negative because the last term is negative. But middle term is plus, means we take the larger number as plus and the other one as negative. So split the middle term into 5p and minus 4p, and then take 2 at a time and factorize. So I can see p, take it out, p plus 5. Minus 4, take it out, you get p plus 5. Now again p plus 5 is common, take it out, and the remaining part is p minus 4. Now look at the next one, minus 21. So what are the factors of minus 21 n squared to get minus 4n? So what are the factors of 21? 7 times 3. So 7 times 3, and the middle term is minus 4. That means the larger number should be negative and the smaller one should be positive. So again split the middle term into minus 7n and plus 3n. Take first 2, last 2 separately and factorize. So you get n minus 7 here. When you take 3 out, you get n minus 7 again. So n minus 7, take it out. The remaining part you can write as n plus 3. Now look at the next one. Minus 28 and plus 3. So what are the factors of minus 28 to get plus 3? Minus means you should get one positive and one negative. So here plus 3a is the middle. That means the larger number should be positive. So what are the factors of minus 28? We can write 7 and 4. So what we can write? The larger number should be positive and the smaller number should be negative. Now we'll split it to 2 terms, 7a and 4a here, and then take 2 at a time. A is common, take it out, you get a plus 7. Minus 4, take it out, you get a plus 7 again, a plus 7, and the remaining one is a minus 4. Now we'll look at this question. Minus 12 and minus 4. So here when you multiply these two, you get minus 12y squared. What are the factors of minus 12? But the middle term is minus 4. One should be positive, one should be negative. The bigger number should be negative. So what are the factors? I can write 6 and 2, but minus 6 and plus 2y. So you can write middle term as minus 6y plus 2y minus 12. Take 2 at a time. We can write y minus 6. Take 2 out. You get y minus 6. Now again y minus 6 is common. Take it out. The remaining part is y plus 2. Now when you look at this question, what happens here? The order is different. So when you are getting a quadratic expression like this, first thing look at whether you get the square term and the next x term and the last digit as the constant. So here what we do, we have to rearrange this. So first m squared and then 6m and minus 40. Now you can do the multiplication and find out the proper factors. So here when you multiply you get minus 40m squared. So what are the factors of minus 40? So you get 10 times 4. But the middle term is positive, that means you are getting plus 10 and minus 4m. So split the middle term to plus 10m and minus 4m and take two terms separately and factorize. Here we can see m, you can take it out and write m plus 10. Minus 4 is common, take it out, you get m plus 10. Now we can see m plus 10 is common and the remaining part I can write m minus 4. Now look at the last one. Again the order is not the same. So what we do? We have to rearrange. So I am doing first square term, then this x term, the second term and the constant term. Now I can see what are the factors you need. Factors of minus 24p squared. What are the factors of minus 24 to get plus 5? So here factors of 24, 8 and 3. But the middle term is plus, means the biggest number should be plus and the other one should be negative. So here again you can split the middle term to 8p and minus 3p and then take 2 at a time. You get p, when you take p out, p plus 8, and when you take minus 3 out you get p plus 8 again. So p plus 8 is common, take it out and the remaining part is p minus 3. Now we'll move to the next part. So here also the order is not the same. So arrange it. First write the x squared term and the x term and the constant. Now again multiply these two. You need 45 x squared. What are the factors of 45 to get minus 14? Last term is positive and the middle term is negative, means both the terms should be negative. What are the factors of 45? 9 and 5. But the middle term is negative. So that means both should be negative. So we can write, instead of minus 14x, I can write minus 9x and minus 5x plus 45. Take first two separately and last two separately. X is common, take it out. You get x minus 9. Minus 5, take it out, x minus 9. Then we see x minus 9 is common. The remaining part is x minus 5. Now the last one, n squared minus 28 minus 12n. Again, the order is not the same. So we have to rearrange. So first square term and the x term and the constant. Now we can write what are the factors of minus 28 n squared. So here, what are the factors of minus 28? Factors are 14 and 2. But the middle term is negative. So one should be negative and one should be positive and the bigger number should be negative. So here you get minus 14 and plus 2 as the factor. So here split the middle term, minus 12n to minus 14n and plus 2n, and then take first two and last two separately and try to factorize. When you take n out, you get n minus 14. When you take plus 2 out, you get n minus 14. So n minus 14 is common. Take it out and you get n plus 2 as the next factor. Now we'll see part B. Here what's the difference now? Earlier you got x squared term first. Now x squared term last. Doesn't matter. You can do as it is. No need to rearrange. So what we can do, we multiply these two. What you get? Minus 10x squared. Try to find out the factors of minus 10 to get minus 3. What are the factors of minus 10x squared? We can write 5 and 2. How we decide the sign? This is middle term is negative. Middle term is negative means the largest number should be negative and the other one should be positive. Try to split the middle term, 2 minus 5x and 2x, and then take 2 at a time and try to factorize. 5 is common, take it out, you get 2 minus x. Now from here I'll take plus x. So when you take x out, you get 2 minus x. We can see 2 minus x is common, take it out, and the remaining part is 5 plus x. Now look at this one. So in this question also, you get square term last. So what we do, we can multiply, you need minus 12p squared. What are the factors of minus 12 to get minus p? So this means one should be positive and the other should be negative. So factors of 12, you can write 4 and 3. Which one you need to get positive? Middle term is negative means the highest number is negative. This is negative and plus 3p you are getting. So separate the middle term into minus 4p and 3p and then take 2 at a time and try to factorize. So what's common here? 4 is common. Take it out. You get 3 minus p. When you take p out, what's remaining? 3 minus p. Now again 3 minus p is common. Take it out. What's remaining? 4 plus p. Now the last one in that question. So 12 minus 4x minus x squared. So the order is okay. You can keep as it is and find out what are the factors of minus 12x squared. What are the factors of minus 12? You can write 6 and 2. And the middle term is minus. So that means the largest one should be negative. So minus 6 and plus 2, you are getting minus 4. So split the middle term to minus 6x and 2x and take 2 at a time and try to factorize. So here 6 is common, take it out. Remaining one is 2 minus x. What about this one? Plus x is common, take it out. You get 2 minus x. Again 2 minus x is common. Take it out and what's remaining? 6 plus x. We'll take this one. So here when you multiply these two, you get minus 50x squared. What are the factors of minus 50 to get plus 5? So 10 and 5. But how we decide whether which one is positive or negative? Look at the middle term. Plus 5, that means the biggest number should be plus and the smaller one should be negative. So here we can split the middle term to 10x and minus 5x and then take 2 at a time and factorize. So here 10 is common, take it out. You get 5 plus x. Minus x, you can take it out. 5 plus x. 5 plus x is common. Take it out and the remaining part is 10 minus x. Now in this part, you get minus a squared and 18. When you multiply these two, you get minus 18a squared. What are the factors of minus 18? The middle term is positive. That means the largest number should be positive and the smaller number should be negative. What are the factors of minus 18? You can write 9 and 2. So here middle term is positive, means plus 9 and minus 2. So here we can split the middle term to plus 9a and minus 2a, and then take 2 at a time and try to factorize. Common term is 9. When you take 9 out, 2 plus a. When you take minus a out, 2 plus a again. So 2 plus a, you can take it out. So what's remaining? 9 minus a. Now we'll look at this one. Here also squared term is last and the constant term first. So here when you multiply these two, you get minus 56y squared. So what are the factors of minus 56 to get minus 1? So here also 1 is positive and 1 should be negative. So what are the factors of minus 56? 8 and 7. But middle term is minus, means the bigger number should be minus. So here minus 8y and plus 7y. So split the middle term to minus 8y and plus 7y. So what are you getting? When you factorize, here 8 is common, take it out, 7 minus y. Here when you take y out, again 7 minus y. So 7 minus y is common, take it out, and 8 plus y is remaining. Now we can do the next part. So here in this case, all the terms are positive. So here when you multiply this and this, you get 10a squared b squared. Now we need to find out the factors of 10a squared b squared. So here you need to get plus 7. So what are the factors of 10? You can write 5ab and 2ab. Both should be plus because the middle term also positive. Now try to split the middle term with 5ab and 2ab, and then try to factorize by taking 2 at a time. So here a you can take it out, a plus 5b. When you take 2b out from this, you get a plus 5b. Now again a plus 5b common. When you take it out, the remaining part is a plus 2b. Now look at the second part. So here what are the two numbers? We need to multiply these two. So 2y squared x squared, you get 2x squared y squared. And try to find out the factors to get 3xy. Here the middle term is positive. That means both factors are positive. So you can write 2xy and 1xy. Both should be positive because the middle term is positive. So split the middle term to 2xy and 1xy and try to factorize by taking first two and the last two. So when you are doing that, take x out, x plus 2y remaining. Here y is common, take it out, you get x plus 2y. Both factors are the same, so you can take it out, x plus 2y out. Then what is remaining? You get x plus y. Now when you take this one, when you multiply these two, what you get? 12p squared q squared. So what are the factors of 12 to get minus 7? Last term is positive and the middle term is minus, means both factors should be minus. So what are the factors of 12? 4 and 3. Then here you get p squared, q squared means you have to take 4pq and 3pq. So both should be negative. So we'll try to split the middle term to 4pq and 3pq. Here both are negative. And then take first two separately and last two separately and try to factorize. So p, you can take it out. P minus 4q is remaining. Here what we do? Minus 3q is common. Take it out. What's remaining? P minus 4q. So p minus 4q is common. You can take it out. The remaining part again, p minus 3q. So here, this one, all the terms are positive. So here what we do, we multiply. What you get? 24a squared y squared. So what are the factors of 24? So 6 and 4. So 6 and 4 you are getting, but this is ay term, middle term, and this is positive. So that means both factors are positive. So here split the middle term to 6ay and 4ay and try to factorize by taking 2 at a time. So first 2 when you take y, you can take it out and the remaining one is y plus 6a. Here you can take 4a out. The remaining part is y plus 6a. Now y plus 6a is common. Take it out and the remaining part is y plus 4a. Now we'll look at next one. So here square term and these one both are in proper place. So no need to rearrange. Just multiply. You get 21a squared b squared. So what are the factors of 21? 7 and 3. But the middle term is negative, means you are taking both negative values. Then split the middle term to minus 7ab and 3ab. So here when you take first 2 and last 2 separately, you can take a out and a minus 7b. You can take minus 3 out, 3b out. So I'll erase that because you have to take the greatest common factor. So 3b, you can take it out, a minus 7b. Now we can see a minus 7b is common. Take it out. The remaining part is a minus 3b. Now look at the next one. When you multiply these two, what you get? You get minus 8x squared y squared. What are the factors of minus 8 to get minus 2? So here middle term is minus, means one should be positive and one should be negative. So here we can say minus 8 as 4 and 2, but the larger number should be negative. So I can write minus 4xy and plus 2xy. So we'll split the middle term. I can write x squared minus 4xy plus 2xy and minus 8y squared. Take first 2 and last 2 separately. X you can take it out. X minus 4y remaining. So when you take these two terms, we can take 2y is common. Take it out. What's remaining? X minus 4y. So here again x minus 4y is common to both and the remaining one is x plus 2y. Now when you look at this one, what are the factors? You get minus 12p squared q squared. So here middle term is positive. That means one should be positive. The larger number should be positive. So what are the factors of 12? I can say 4 and 3, but the larger number should be positive. So I can write 4pq and 3pq. And this should be negative. So split the middle term. I can say p squared plus 4pq and minus 3pq minus 12q squared. Take first 2 and last 2 separately. P is common. Take it out. P plus 4q. So here minus 3 you can take it out, as well as q is common. So take it out. So what's remaining? P plus 4q. Again we see p plus 4q is common. Take it out, and the remaining part is p minus 3q. Now look at this one. So same pattern. When you multiply these two, you get negative p squared y squared. And the middle term is minus 3. So what are the factors of negative 10 to get negative 3? So we can say 5 and 2. But middle term is negative. That means the larger number is negative. I can write minus py and plus 2py. So split the middle term to minus 5py and plus 2py. And try to factorize by taking 2 at a time. When you take first 2, y is common, take it out, y minus 5p. In this one, I can take 2p out and y minus 5p remaining. So y minus 5p, you can take it out from these two and write the remaining part inside the other bracket. So you get y plus 2p. Now we'll see this question. Same as before. So here again multiply these two, you get minus 20a squared b squared. So what are the factors of minus 20 to get minus 1? Here minus 1 is there. So here what are the factors? We can see 5 and 4. But the middle term is negative, means the highest number should be negative. So I can write minus 5ab and 4ab. So split the middle term to minus 5ab and plus 4ab. Then take first 2 separately and last 2 separately. So when you take this one, we can see a is common, take it out, and a minus 5b remaining. Now when you take the next two, 4a is common, 4b is common, and remaining part is a minus 5b. Now we can see a minus 5b is common, take it out, and a plus 4b is remaining. Now we'll look at this question. Here we need to multiply as before. What you get? Minus 40 x squared y squared. So what are the factors of minus 40 to get plus 6? So here we know 10 times 4 minus 10 times 4 is 40. So middle term is plus. That means the bigger number should be plus and the other one should be minus to get minus 40. So here I can write xy there. Here split the middle term to 10xy and 4xy. Try to factorize now. Take first 2 separately and last 2 separately. So here x is common, take it out and write 10y. So here in this one minus 4y is common, take it out. X minus x plus, because we have already taken minus. So here x plus 10y. So x plus 10y is common again, take it out, and the remaining one is x minus 4y. Now we'll look at the next question. Question number 3, it says a certain number is denoted by x. The product of the expression obtained by adding a certain number to x and the expression obtained by subtracting a different number from x is given by the expression this. That means x is there, you are adding a number and you are subtracting a number. When you multiply these two, you are getting this expression. And in the first part it says find the factors of the given expression. So that means you are doing reverse order. So here this is the expression and you are asked to find the factors. So we'll start. So the expression is x squared plus x minus 56. So this is as before. You get minus 56 6x squared. What are the factors of minus 56 to get plus 1? So we know 8 times 7. But the middle term is positive. That means positive bigger number and negative smaller number. So split the middle term into plus 8x and minus 7x. Take 2 at a time and factorize. X is common, take it out, you get x plus 8. Minus 7 is common, take it out, you get x plus 8. X plus 8 is common and the remaining part is x minus 7. So these are the factors of this expression. Now what's the second part? What is the number that has been added to the number denoted by x? So they are asking this expression. So where you see the plus 1. So here that means you are adding 8 to that. So here second part you can write adding 8 to x. In the third part what it says? What is the number that has been subtracted from the number denoted by x? That means they are asking this expression. So here that means x minus 7. So which one you subtract? You are subtracting 7. So now we'll look at more examples. Now here in this example, you can see there's a coefficient in front of x, x squared, and here we need to multiply these two. So 3 and 15, when you multiply 3 and 15, you get 45. So here you get 45 x squared. Now what are the factors of 45 to get 14? So here 9 times 5. So 9 and 5 are the factors. But the middle term is plus means both are positive. So 9 plus 5 you get 14. So split the middle term into 9x and 5x and then take first two and last two separately. You can see 3x is common, take it out. The remaining part is x plus 3. When you look at the other one, plus 5 is common, take it out and you get x plus 3. Now x plus 3 is common, take it out and the remaining one is 3x plus 5. Now we'll look at example number 2. So here in this question, again you need to multiply these two. So that means you have to multiply 6 and minus 15. So when you multiply 6 and minus 15, what you get? 6 times 5, 30, 3 remaining and 9. So you get minus 90 x squared. Now see what are the factors of minus 90 to get plus 1. So we know that's 10 and 9. Middle term is positive means the biggest number should be positive. So here you get plus 10 and minus 9. So split the middle term. You can write first term as 6x squared plus 10x minus 9x minus 15. Take first two and last two separately. We can take what's common for 6 and 10. I can take 2 out and x from this. So what's remaining? 3x remaining here plus 5. So 9 and 15, what's common? You can take minus 3 out. So when you take minus 3, what's remaining? 3x plus 5, because I have already taken minus sign. 3x plus 5 is common again. You can write it and then take the other factor as 2x minus 3. Now we'll look at the example number 3. So here again you have to multiply these two. So when you multiply these two, 2 and minus 7 becomes minus 14, a squared, b squared. Now try to split the factors. How you get minus 14? 14 and 1. The middle term is positive. That means the larger number should be positive. So here you need 14ab and 1ab. So split the middle term to plus 14ab and this should be minus ab. And the other one is minus 7b squared. Again take first two and last two separately. What are common terms? I can see 2a is common. Take it out. So what's remaining? A plus 7b. When you take these two, what's common? B is common. So I can take minus b out. So what's remaining? A plus 7b. A plus 7b is common. Take it out. You get 2a minus b. So here, what are the factors of this expression? A plus 7b and 2a minus b. Now we'll look at example number 4. So here there's a fraction. Earlier we got all whole numbers. Now we need to get rid of this fraction. So here, to get rid of this 2 in the denominator, we can multiply the whole expression by 2. So what we can do, we multiply this whole expression by 2. But we need to get rid of that as well, because in the question 2 is not there. How can we get rid of that? We multiply by half. So what I can do this one separately and get rid of this fraction. So I can write half there and then multiply this whole expression by 2. So we did this before, expanding brackets. 2 times x squared, 2x squared. 2 times this 2 get cancelled out with this one and you get plus 5x. When you multiply 2 with 1, you get plus 2. So this is the expression you are getting when you multiply by 2. Now this is like previous expression. So you take the multiplication of these two, you get 4x squared. Find the factors of 4x squared to get plus 5. So middle term is plus and the last term is plus, means both factors are plus. So here you can write plus 4 and plus 1. So this is x term. You can write 4x and 1x. Half is there. Instead of the middle term, I can write 4x and 1x. Now take first two and last two separately and factorize. So I have to write half there. 2x is common, take it out. X plus 2 remaining. When you take plus 1 out, x plus 2 remaining. Then you can see x plus 2 is common. I can write half x plus 2 and what's the other factor? You get 2x plus 1. Now we'll look at exercise 7.2 in your textbook. So here in this one also they asked to factorize the expression and find out the factors. So here, like before, you need to multiply these two and you are getting 2x squared. Try to find out the factors. Middle term is positive and the last term is positive. That means both factors are positive. Both factors are positive means you can take plus 2 and plus 1. This is x term. You write x here. Split the middle term to 2x and 1x. And then take first 2 and last 2 separately and try to factorize. Here 2x is common. Take it out. What's remaining? X plus 1. In this one, just 1 is common. Take it out. You get x plus 1. Again, x plus 1 is common. Take it out and the remaining part is 2x plus 1. Now in this one, multiply these two. You get 10a squared. Split 10 to 2 factors. The middle term is minus 7. So you have to take both minus because the last term also minus. So what are the factors of 10? I can write 5 and 2. Both are minus. I can write minus 5a and minus 2a. So we can write middle term as minus 5a and minus 2a and the last term is plus 2. Take first 2, last 2 separately and try to factorize. 5a is common. Take it out. A minus 1 is there. When you take 2 out, minus 2 out, a minus 1 is remaining. So here a minus 1 is common. Take it out. 5a minus 2 remaining. Now look at the next one. So same as before, multiply. You get minus 2x squared as the number. Now here, what are the factors of minus 2 to get minus x? Middle term is minus means you should get the bigger number minus. So here I can write minus 2 and plus 1. So here this is x term. So we are trying to split the middle term to minus 2x and 1x. And then take first 2 and last 2 separately. In this expression, 2x is common. Take it out. What's remaining? X minus 1. In this one, 1 is common and what's remaining? X minus 1. So x minus 1 common again. Take it out and what's remaining? 2x plus 1. Now we'll look at the next part. So here, similar as before, you multiply these two. 4 and minus 3, you get minus 12p squared. Try to write down the factors. You are getting plus 4. So that means the bigger number should be plus. So what are the factors of minus 12? You can write 6 and 2. So which one is positive? The bigger number. So you can write plus 6p and minus 2p. So split the middle term to plus 6p and minus 2p and then factorize separately. When you take first 2, 2p is common. Take it out and the remaining part is 2p plus 3. Here I can see minus 1 is common. Take it out and write 2p plus 3. 2p plus 3 is common and the remaining part is 2p minus 1. Now when you look at this question, again multiply these two. 6 and minus 3, minus 18. What are the factors of minus 18 to get plus 3? That's 6x and 3x. Middle term is positive means the bigger number should be positive. So 6 is positive and this is negative. So split the middle term to 6x and minus 3x. Take first 2 and last 2 separately. 6x is common, take it out. Remaining part is x plus 1. From this, you can take minus 3 out. X plus 1 is there. Now again, x plus 1 is common. Take it out. What's remaining? 6x minus 3. Now, here, can we keep this answer like this? I can see 3 is common to this factor. So, what I can do, I can take 3 out from this factor. So, when I take 3 out, what is remaining? I can write 2x minus 1. Here, can you see, when you look at the question, 3 is common for all 3 expressions. So here, if you take 3 out from the beginning and write down this is as 2x squared plus x minus 1, it is easier than what we did before. So when you are trying to do a question like this, first see whether there are common factors and you can take it out. Now we'll look at the next question. Here again multiply these two, you get 2 times 15 is 30 x squared y squared. Now the last term is positive and the second term is negative. Last term positive means the factors are negative. So we'll find out what are the factors of 30. You get 6 and 5 and both should be negative because the middle term is negative. So here split the middle term into minus 6xy and minus 5xy and try to factorize. So here first 2 and last 2 separately. 2x is common, take it out. X minus 3y remaining. Here 5y is common. And then when you take it out, you get x minus 3y. Again, x minus 3y common, take it out, you get 2x minus 5y. Now we'll look at the next part. Here, no common factors. So, here we multiply these two. 2y squared into 3a squared, you get 6a squared y squared. So, what are the factors to get minus 5? Both should be negative. So, here you can write 3ay and 2ay. So, split the middle term to minus 3ay and minus 2ay. So, take first 2 and last 2 separately. You get y common. So, 2y minus 3a. Here what's common? Minus a is common. 2y minus 3a. Now, 2y minus 3a is common. Take it out. What's remaining? Y minus a. Now, look at this one. No common terms. Again, we multiply these two. When you multiply these two, you get 12a squared b squared. So, what are the factors of 12? Middle term is positive. That means both factors are positive. So, here factors of 12, you can write 4 and 3. So, here 4ab and 3ab. So, here write down 4ab and 3ab instead of 7ab. And the last term is 6b squared. Take first 2 and last 2 separately. What's common here? 2a is common. Take it out. A plus 2b. What's common here? Plus 3b. When you take 3b out, you get a plus 2b. Again, a plus 2b is common. Take it out. 2a plus 3b remaining. Now look at the next one. No common terms. We multiply these two. So 5 and minus 2, you get minus 10p squared q squared. Find the factors of minus 10 to get minus 9. So the middle term is minus and the last term minus means one is minus and the other one is positive. So here bigger number is negative because the middle term is negative. So what are the factors of minus 10? 10 and 1. And the middle term is minus means the larger number should be minus. So here 10 minus pq and 1 pq. So split the middle term to 5p squared minus 10pq plus 1 pq minus 2q squared. Take first two and last two separately. 5p is common. Take it out. p minus 2q. With these two, I can see 1q is common. Take it out. p minus 2q. Now p minus 2q is common. Take it out and the remaining part is 5p plus q. Now we'll look at the next one. So here also no common terms. So here what we do, just multiply 2m squared into minus 2n squared becomes minus 4m squared n squared. Try to find out the factors. So the last term is negative means one is positive and the other one is negative. But middle term is positive means the bigger number is positive. So what are the factors of 4? 4 and 1. So which one is positive? The larger one. So this should be negative. So split the middle term to 4mn and 1mn. Take first two separately, last two separately. We can see 2m is common. Take it out and write m plus 2n. When you take these two, I can take minus n out. So you get m plus 2n. So here also m plus 2n is common. Take it out and what's the remaining part? You get 2m minus n. Now look at this one. Again, no common term, so you need to multiply these two together. 16 and x squared y squared, you get 16x squared y squared. Now try to find out the factors. Both terms are positive means both factors are positive. So factors of 16, I can write 8 and 2 because 10 is the middle number. So 8xy and 2xy both positive. So split the middle term to 8xy and 2xy and try to factorize. So when you take first two, you get xy common, take it out, xy plus 8. When you take these two, 2 is common, I can write xy plus 8. Xy plus 8 is common. Take it out. What's remaining? Xy plus 2. Now look at the next example. Are there any common terms here? We can see x term is common for all three terms. So what we can do? We can take the x out. When you take x out, what's remaining? You get 2x squared minus xy and 3y squared. Now we can factorize this one. So here what we can do, I can multiply these two. You get 2 and minus 3 becomes minus 6 x squared y squared. Now split the term. What are the factors? You are getting minus 1 in the middle and the last term is minus. So that means 1 is negative and 1 is positive. So what are the factors of minus 6? Here middle term is minus. So that means the bigger number should be minus. So here what are the factors of minus 6? I can write 3 and 2. So here bigger number is 3. So that means this is minus and this is plus. So I can write xy and xy. So split the middle term. So here I can write x is the common factor, this one. And then for this one, I can split separately. So when you take x out, what's there? Minus 3xy plus 2xy, and then what's the last term? Minus 3y squared. Now we'll take first two and last two separately and try to factorize. So what are the factors? So here x is common, take it out. 2x minus 3y remaining. From these two, I can take y is common. When you take y out, 2x minus 3y. So now again I can see 2x minus 3y common and x plus y remaining. And I have to write this x in front of these two factors. Now we'll take question number 2 in the exercise. It says find the value of each of the following numerical expressions using the knowledge on the factors of trinomial quadratic expressions. Now here earlier we used letters. Now instead we have numbers. So what we can do, we can change these numbers to letters. So I'll take this number 8 as x. Then converting this expression to algebraic expression. So I can write instead of 8 squared, this is x squared. Instead of 7 times 8, I can write 7x plus 10. Now we can see this is like previous algebraic expression. So we'll try to factorize. So when you multiply these two, you get 10x squared. What are the factors of 10x squared? To get plus 7. So the factors are 5 and 2. Both should be plus because the middle term is plus. So you are splitting the middle term to 5x and 2x. And take first 2 and last 2 separately. So x is common, take it out, you get x plus 5. Plus 2 is common, take it out, you get x plus 5 again. X plus 5 is common and what's the remaining part? X plus 2. Now here, this is not the final answer because we used x as 8. So here in the question, they are asking to find out the value. So we need to substitute 8 as x. So we'll do that. Instead of x, we write 8. Here also 8 plus 2. So what's the answer? 8 plus 5 is 30 and 8 plus 2 is 10. So what is 13 times 10? 113. So that's the value when you simplify with factors. Now we'll take this example. Like before, we can take any variable as 93. So I'll take this time y. You can take any letter that you like. So here if I take y as 93, how can I write the expression? So I can write y squared plus 3y minus 28. This is like simple trinomial expression. So we can multiply these two and write minus 28y squared. Try to find out the factors for minus 28. So what are the factors? Middle term is plus. So here when you multiply, you should get minus, but the middle term is plus means the bigger number should be plus. So here the factors are 7 and 4. You can write the plus value is the largest one and this is negative. So here what we can write, instead of 3y, I can write 7y minus 4y and then take first two separately and last two separately. When you take first two, take y common and then the remaining part is y plus 7. Here I can see minus 4 is common, take it out, y plus 7 remaining. Here again y plus 7 is common and y minus 4 is remaining. Now we know y as 93, not this one. So here we can substitute 93 instead of y. So 93 plus 7 and 93 minus 4. So what is 93 plus 7? You get 100. What is 93 minus 4? You get 89. So what is the multiplication of 89 and 100? You get 8,900. Now we'll look at another question similar to that. So what's the number we have to take as a variable now? We can see 27 is the variable. I'll take now A as 27. Rewrite this as an algebraic expression. I can write A squared minus 4A minus 21. Again, like before, multiply these two, you get minus 21 A squared and try to find out the factors. Last term is negative, middle term is negative. That means the bigger number should be negative. So what are the factors of minus 21? We can take 7 and 3. So the larger number is minus 7. So here minus 7a and 3a. So split the middle term to minus 7a and plus 3a and try to factorize by taking first two separately and last two separately. So here a is common, take it out, a minus 7. Here plus 3 is common, take it out, a minus 7. Again, a minus 7 is common, take it out. And what is remaining? A plus 3. But what is a value? 27. So we need to substitute 27 for a. So 27 minus 7, 27 plus 3. So what is 27 minus 7? You get 20. What is 27 plus 3? You get 30. So you need to multiply 20 times 30. So you get 600 as the answer. Now look at this one. Again, same as before. So we need to take 54 as a letter. So here I'll take B. B as 54. Convert to an algebraic expression. You get B squared plus 2B minus 24. Now multiply these two. You get minus 24B squared. Try to find out the factors. But the middle term is positive means the bigger number should be positive. So what are the factors of minus 24? 6 and 4. But the middle term is positive means the bigger number should be positive. So you get plus 6 and minus 4. This is B term. Now try to split the middle term to 6B minus 4B and take first two and last two separately. B is common, take it out, you get B plus 6. So what is common here? Minus 4 is common, take it out. B remaining and here plus 6 remaining. So again B plus 6 common, take it out. B minus 4 is remaining. But this is not the final answer. We have to substitute 54 for B. So substitute here 54 plus 6, 54 minus 4. 54 minus 4 is 50. 54 plus 6 is 60. 60 times 50. What's the answer? You get 3000. So that's the answer when you simplify this one. Difference between two squared terms. Now look at this expression. A squared minus 36. Now we see two terms are there with minus sign. So that's what we call difference between two squared terms. But we need to find out whether this number is also a squared term. So we'll try to find out 36. Is 36 a square number? Yes. So we can write a squared and instead of 36 we can write 6 squared. Now can you see there's a minus sign in between two terms and both these two terms are square terms. So those terms we called as difference between two square terms. Now how can we factorize this? We'll try to connect this into the previous trinomial. Now when we take trinomial, square term is there and the constant term is there. What is missing? The middle term. So middle term is missing. So instead of that, I can write a squared plus or minus, doesn't matter, 0a, and the next number is minus 36. Here you can write either plus or minus because 0 means nothing. Then what we do, if you are doing like before, you multiply these two. So you get minus 36a squared. What are the factors of minus 36 to get 0? So here we know 6 and 6, but middle term is minus. That means the bigger number should be minus and the smaller number should be positive. But here same factors are there. So you can take one is negative and one is positive. So when you take minus 6a and plus 6a, we know that you are getting 0. So what we can do, we can split it to minus 6a and plus 6a. Again, like before, take two terms separately. A is common, take it out, you get a minus 6. Here, what's common? 6 is common. Take it out and you get a minus 6. Again, two terms are there. You take a minus 6 out. What's remaining? A plus 6. So here we can do, still when we have two terms with square terms, we can factorize and write a minus 6 and a plus 6. So here I can write a squared minus 6 squared as a plus 6 and a minus 6. Can you see a pattern now? Here this letter comes here and here. This number comes here and here. So when you get square terms with minus sign, one is positive and one is negative. So when you get any term as x squared and the other term as y squared, what are the factors? If you see the factors, you can write down at once. So I can write down there are two factors. The first letter is x, last letter is y, and one is positive and one is negative. So you can use this formula to find out when you get difference between two square terms. Now we'll look at example number 1. So here, straightforward question. You got two terms, but we don't know whether these are two square terms. So 9, yes, you can write as 3 squared. What about 4? You can write as 2 squared. So what we can do, first thing, we write 3x whole thing square as 9x squared. What about 4y squared? We can write 2y whole thing squared. Now we can see these are difference between two squared terms. Straight away you can use the formula. So we can write two factors are there. One term is 3x. Other term is 2y. One is positive and one is negative. Now we'll look at the second example. So what's the difference between this and this? You get one big expression. So here again two terms are there and minus sign in between. So we need to check whether these are square terms. So here, can you write 25 as a square term? Yes, you can write. You can write as 5 squared. So we'll do that. So first thing, write as square term. So I can write this one as 5c whole thing squared. So now two square terms with minus sign in between. So straight away this is difference between two square terms. You can use the formula. So what we can do, you can open two brackets. First term is 2a minus b. Last term is 5c. One is positive and the other one is negative. Now we'll look at step 3, a different example. Again, two terms are there. See whether you can write the square term. 36. 36 is 6 squared. So we can write 6x whole thing squared. Here already given the square term. Again, this is difference between two square terms. What we can do? We can write two factors like this. One term is 6x. The other term is a minus 7b. When you are writing an expression, make sure that you put brackets. And then one is positive, the other one is negative. So here you can expand and write down properly. So here what I can write? I can write 6x plus a minus 7b. What about this one? I can write as 6x minus a, and minus into minus becomes plus 7b. So these are the two factors for this expression. Now look at step 4. Now already given two expressions with square term. So here straight away you can write down the factors. First term is 3x minus y. Make sure that you put brackets. Last term is x minus 7z. So one term is positive, one term is negative. Now expand brackets and simplify. So I can write 3x minus y plus x minus 7z. What about the other factor? I can write 3x minus y minus x, minus into minus becomes plus 7c. So here, can you simplify further? I can see like terms. So I can write down 3x and x becomes 4x minus y minus 7z as the first one. What about this one? 3x and minus x becomes 2x and minus y and 7z. So I can write here 7c. So these are the factors of these expressions. Now we'll look at examples related to difference between two squared terms. So in the first one, x squared minus 4, just two small numbers are there. So straight away, can you write 4 in terms of a square number? Yes, we can write as 2 squared. Then what you do? You have two numbers with square terms, in between minus sign is there. So straight away you can write down the factors. First number is x, next number is 2. One is positive and one is negative. So this one, 4x squared. How can you write as a square number? I can write this as 2x whole thing squared. 9 I can write 3 squared. Now again we can apply the difference between two squared terms. First term is 2x, last term is 3. One is positive and one is negative. Now we'll look at the third example. 25a squared. How can I write? I can write 5a whole thing squared. What about 16b squared? I can write 4b whole thing squared. Again, this is difference between two squared terms. I can write two brackets like this. First number is 5a, last number is 4b. One is positive and one is negative. Now we'll see the exercise in your textbook, that's exercise 7.3. So in the first one it says fill in the blanks. So 36 is there and you have to write as a square number. So what's the square number? 6 squared. Then already given the factors are x minus 6 and x plus 6. Here what you have to do? You have to write down as a square term. 9 I can write 3 squared. Y square already there. So what are the factors now? 1 is 3 plus y and 1 is 3 minus y. Now third one, 25x squared. How can I write as a square number? I can write 5x whole thing squared. What about minus 4y squared? I can write 2y whole thing squared. Again, difference between two square terms, I can write 5x plus 2y, 5x minus 2y. When you look at this one, here first thing, check whether there are common factors. 2 is a common factor for both. So take it out first. So what is remaining? You get a squared minus 4b squared. Now try to write down as a square number. Here, how to write 4b squared as a square number? I can write 2b whole thing squared. Now, again, difference between two squared comes here. So, what's the answer? A plus 2b, a minus 2b. Now here, look at this one. 3 is common. Take it out. So, what's remaining? P squared minus 9q squared. Again, try to write down as a square term. P, I can write p squared. What about 9q squared? I can write 3q whole thing squared. Now again, this is difference between two square terms. I can write this 3 as it is and then write down p plus 3q and p minus 3q as the factors. Now look at this one. Here already given as square term. So here 1 squared is 1. So straight away you can write ab minus 1 and ab plus 1. Now we'll move to the second question. Factor the following algebraic expressions. So all of these got two terms. Now we have to see whether these are square terms. 81 is there. Yes, we can write as 9 squared. Difference between two square terms now. So straight away you can write y minus 9, y plus 9. What about this one? 16. You can write as 4 squared as 16. Then straight away you can write down 4 plus b, 4 minus b. What about this one? 100. Is it a square number? Yes, you can write as 10 squared. What about this one? So again, you can apply difference between two square terms. you can straight away write down 10 plus n and 10 minus n. This one, first thing you write, without writing square separately, we can write mn whole thing squared and 1 as 1 squared. Now again, difference between two square terms, you can apply mn plus 1, mn minus 1. Now we'll move to the next question. So here 16a squared minus b squared. Try to write down as square numbers. I can write 4a whole thing squared as 16a squared. Now straight away you can apply the formula. I can write 4a plus b, 4a minus b. This one I can write 2x whole thing squared and 5 squared as 25. Now straight away write down the formula. 1 is positive, 1 is negative. In this one, 9 and 4, both are square numbers. Write down as square numbers. So can write 3p whole thing squared and 2q whole thing squared and minus sign in between. So you can use difference between two square terms. So what you can do, you can write 3p minus first plus 2q and then minus 2q. In this question, I can see one number is common. First thing, if there are common factors, take it out. So here 4 is common for both numbers. I am taking 4 out. So what's remaining? 100 minus n squared. So what is 100? 100 I can write as 10 squared, and then this is difference between two square terms. I can write the factors are 10 plus n and 10 minus n. Now we'll look at these two questions. So here 8x squared minus 2. Again, can we see common factors? Yes, 2 is common for both. So take it out first. So what's remaining? 4x squared minus 1. Now try to write down as square numbers. So I can write instead of 4x squared, 2x whole thing squared. What is 1? I can write 1 squared. Now this is difference between two square terms. I can write 2x plus 1 and 2x minus 1. What about this one? First check whether there are common factors. Yes. What are common factors here? Y squared is common. Take it out. What's remaining? 4x squared minus 9. Now try to write down as square terms. So here I can write 2x whole thing square instead of 4x squared. I can write 3 squared instead of 9. Again, difference between two square terms I can write as 2x plus 3 and 2x minus 3. Now we'll move to the next question. So in question number 3, you have given two circles and smaller one radius is r and the bigger one has radius a. Now first part, the question asks express the area of the smaller circle. So what's the radius of the smaller one? R. Can you remember the formula for finding area of a circle? That's pi r squared. So here area of smaller circle. You can straight away use the formula pi r squared because r is the radius of the smaller circle. Then second part is asking area of the larger circle. So what's the radius of the larger circle? That's a. So area of larger circle is pi a squared. Now the third part, they ask write an expression for the area of the shaded one. So we can see when you subtract the smaller area from the bigger one, you get the shaded area. So what we can do, shaded area is equal to larger area minus smaller area. So I'll write it here, smaller area. So we found larger area is pi a squared. What's the smaller area? Pi r squared. Now we see two terms are there. Pi is common. Take it out. When you take pi out, you get a squared minus r squared. In the third part, it says give the answer as a product of two factors. That means we need to factorize this. So you get two square terms with minus sign. So that means you can apply difference between two square terms. So here straight away you can write down the two factors are, one is a plus r and the other one is a minus r. Now we'll look at the next question. In the fourth question it says there are two squares. That means all sides are equal. And bigger length is 5a and the smaller one 2x. Express the area of the smaller square. So here, what's the area of a smaller square? Length into length. So one length is given 2x. So smaller area becomes 2x into 2x, that means 4x squared. Then the second part it says express the area of the larger one. So what's larger area? Larger area is, the length is 5a, so 5a times 5a, you get 25a squared. And the third part it says show that the area of the larger square is greater than the area of the smaller square by this much. So that means actually we have to take the difference. So here when you take the difference, what you get? Bigger area is 25a squared. What's the smaller area? 4x squared. So they are asking take the difference between these two and write in terms of this. Now can you see, when you factorize you have to get this answer. So here we'll try to factorize. Again there are two terms and middle sign is negative. Now we'll see whether we can apply difference between two square terms. So here 25, how can I write? 5a whole thing squared. What about 4? I can write 2x whole thing squared. So here I can apply the difference between two square terms, 5a plus 2x as first term and 5a minus 2x as the second term. Now look at the given answer. We got the same one. Now we'll see more examples related to difference between two square terms. So in this example, you have given two terms with minus sign. So here straight away you can write down the factors as one factor is x plus 2 and the other factor is y. One is positive and one is negative. Look at the second example. Two terms are there and both are square terms. And also there's a minus sign in between. So how can I write the two factors? I can write first factor is a minus 2. What's the second factor? A plus 5. But make sure that you put brackets when you write down the second factor. Then one is plus 1 is minus. Now try to expand brackets and simplify. So I can write a minus 2 plus a plus 5. What about this one? A minus 2 minus a and minus 5. Now try to simplify. Here we see like terms. A and a becomes 2a. Minus 2 and plus 5 is plus 3. What about this one? A and a get cancelled out, and what's remaining? Minus 2 and minus 5 becomes minus 7. So you can write this is as the answer. Now we'll look at exercise 7.4 in your textbook. So this question we need to factorize. So here all these questions given with two terms and the middle sign is negative. So that means you need to try with difference between two squared terms. So we'll try to do that. So first one, straight away you can write as 2 squared for 4. The factors are, first term is x plus 1, second term is 2. One is positive, one is negative. So now try to simplify. We get x plus 3 and 1 minus 2 you get x minus 1. So these are the two factors for part A. Now look at this one. Two terms are there. So here try to write down 9 in terms as a square number. So we can write as 3 squared. Again apply the formula. What's the formula? First term you write as it is and the second term is 3. One is positive, one is negative. Simplify this. Y 3 minus 2 is plus 1. What about this one? Minus 2 and minus 3 becomes minus 5. So y minus 5. Now look at the third one. So you get 49. 49 is a square number, so you can write 7 squared. So here first thing you write down as square term. I can write 7 squared. Then you can straight away apply the formula. 2a plus 3 as the first term. Last term is 7. One is positive, one is negative. Now try to simplify. So you get 2a plus 10, 2a minus 4. Now see whether you can simplify further. I can see 2 is common for both. So you have to take 2 from this bracket. So I get a plus 5. What about this one? 2 is common. So take 2 from this bracket as well. When you take 2 out, you get a minus 2. Now don't keep two numbers like this. So you can multiply and write as a single number. 2 and 2 becomes 4. I can write 4 times a plus 5 and a minus 2. Now we'll look at the next part. Here again two terms with minus sign and we need to write as a square term. I can write 25 as 5 squared. Then straight away I can use the formula for difference between two square terms. First term is 4x minus 3y. Second term is 5. One is positive and one is negative. Now try to simplify. Can you simplify? No like term. So you have to keep the answer like this. Now look at the next one. Again try to write down 4 as square term. I can write this as 2q whole thing squared. According to formula you can write first term is 2p plus 3. What's the second term? Second term is 2q. We put first one plus and the second one minus. So can we simplify further? No like term. So you keep the answer like this. Now look at this one, 25. I can write as 5 squared. and this one already is a square term. Now apply the formula. I can write 5 as the first term, x plus 3 as the second term. But make sure that you put brackets because this is an expression. First one is positive, second one is negative. So try to simplify. You can simplify as x plus 8 and what you get here 5 minus x minus 3. So that means you are getting 5 minus 3 is 2, 2 minus x. So now we'll look at the next one. So here again 2 terms with square terms. So here 4 we write as 2 squared. This one you can write as it is. Apply the formula. So what's the formula? First term write down and the second term is a minus 2. Make sure that you put brackets. Then one is positive, one is negative. Now expand brackets and simplify. So when you do that, this is 2 plus a minus 2. What about this one? 2 minus a plus 2. When you simplify, you can see 2 and 2 get cancelled out. You get a here. 2 plus 2 becomes 4. 4 minus a. So the answer is a times 4 minus a. Now look at this one. You get 16 and m plus 2. We need to write down 16 as a square number. So how can we write down? I can write as 4 squared. So here m plus 2 squared. Now what we do? Use the formula. So here we have 2 squared terms with minus sign. So first write down the first term, write down the last term with brackets. One is positive and one is negative. So simplify this. 4 plus m plus 2 and 4 minus m minus 2. Now you can further simplify this. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus m and 4 minus 2 becomes 2 minus m. So the factors are 6 plus m and 2 minus m. Now look at this one. Already given 2 square terms. So straight away you can use the formula. First term is m plus 2. What's the second term? M plus 1. But you need to put brackets. One is positive, one is negative. Now try to simplify. I can write m plus 2 plus m plus 1. What about this one? I can write m plus 2 minus m and minus 1. Here m and m becomes 2m. 2 plus 1 is 3. This one, m and m get cancelled out. 2 minus 1 is 1. So here no need to write 1 there. So straight away you can write 2m plus 3. Now we'll look at this question. Again, difference between 2 square terms given. Use the formula. First term, 2x plus 3. Last term, x minus 2. Use brackets for that. One is positive, one is negative. So try to expand brackets and simplify. You get this one. And when you multiply by minus, you get 2x plus 3 minus x and plus 2 because minus minus becomes plus. Now try to simplify. 2x and x becomes 3x. 3 minus 2, you get 1. So what about this one? 2x minus x, you get x. 3 plus 2, you get 5. The miscellaneous exercise in your textbook. Now we know 2 methods, how to factorize trinomials and how to factorize when you get 2 terms. So now look at all of these questions and identify the proper method. So we'll look at the first one. Two terms are there and square terms. So what's the method we have to use? Difference between two square terms. So here what we can do, we can write this one as square term like this, and minus 4 you can write as minus 2ab whole thing squared. Difference between two square terms, you can write using the formula. First term x minus y, last term 2ab, and one is positive and one is negative. So can you simplify this? No, there are no like terms, so you can't simplify further. Now look at this one. This is not two terms. You get three terms, square term, xy term, and a constant. So this is a trinomial. So how we factorize trinomials? So what we do, you multiply these two. What you get? You get 16x squared y squared. So then find what are the factors of 16x squared. Factors are 8 and 2. But the middle term is positive, means both are positive. So you get positive 8xy and positive 2xy. So we can split the middle term to 8xy and 2xy. Now take 2 at a time and try to factorize. What's common here? I can see x, y is common. Take it out. What's remaining? xy plus 8. Here what's common? 2 is common. Take it out. xy plus 8. Now we can see xy plus 8 is common. Take it out. And the remaining one is xy plus 2. Now we'll move to the next part. So here 3 terms, and one is square term and a single term and a constant. So this is trinomials. So again we can multiply these two and write down minus 20p squared q squared. Now we need to find out the factors. Last term is negative and the middle term is negative, means the bigger number should be negative. So what are the factors of minus 20? We can write 4 and 5. But middle term is negative, means this one, the larger number, should be negative. So this is plus. So we can write PQ for that, and splitting the middle term as plus 4PQ and minus 5PQ, and then take 2 at a time and try to factorize. Here PQ is common. Take it out. What's remaining? PQ plus 4. Here what's the common term? I can see minus 5 is common. Take it out. PQ plus 4 again. So PQ plus 4 is common. Take it out, and PQ minus 5 remaining. Now we'll look at the next one. When you look at the next question, we can see a common factor. What is the common factor there? X is the common factor. So first thing you have to do before finding factors, take x from all the terms. So here when you take x out, you get 2x squared. Here you get xy, and here you get 3y squared. Now you can use factorization. So multiply these two. 2 and minus 3 becomes minus 6 y squared x squared. Try to find out the factors. The middle term is minus, so that means the larger number should be negative. So what are the factors of minus 6? You know that's 3 and 2. So bigger number should be negative. So I can write minus 3xy and plus 2xy. So here I can split the middle term to minus 3xy plus 2xy. And then first two separately, last two separately. So here, what's common here? X is common. Take it out. 2x minus 3y. What's common to these two? Y is common. You can take it out. So 2x minus 3y there. Now we can see 2x minus 3y is common. So you can take that out. And the remaining factor is x plus y. So you can write the factors are like this. Now we'll take the next one. When you look at this one, again we can see one number is common. What's that? Number 2 is common. So first thing, take 2 from all these terms. So here we can write 3x squared minus x minus 2. Now we can factorize the trinomial. So 3x squared into minus 2 becomes minus 6x squared. Try to find out the factors. What are the factors of minus 6 to get minus 1? So the bigger number should be negative because the middle sign is negative. So what are the factors of minus 6? You can write 3 and 2. So here which one is negative? The bigger number should be negative. So here I can split the middle term to minus 3x and plus 2x. Then take first 2 and last 2 separately. So what you get? Take 3x common. The remaining part is x minus 1. So here plus 2 is common. You get x minus 1 as the remaining part. So here x minus 1 is common again. Take it out. What's the remaining part? 3x plus 2. Okay, in this question, you get two terms and also those are square terms. So you can use difference between two square terms. So what's the procedure? You can straight away use the formula. So what's the first term? X plus 1. What's the second term? X minus 3. So make sure that you use brackets. And then one is positive, one is negative. Now simplify that. So here you can write x plus 1 plus x minus 3. What about this one? You can write x plus 1 minus x and plus 3. So when you simplify this, x and x becomes 2x, 1 minus 3 becomes minus 2. What about this one? X minus x get cancelled out. 3 plus 1 becomes 4. Now look at this one. You can see 2 is common. So you have to take the common factors out. So I'll take 2 out and write x minus 1. And there's 4 also. So you can multiply 2 and 4 and write 8. So the final answer is 8 times x minus 1. Now we'll look at the next question. Now here two terms are there but no square terms. So that means definitely not difference between two square terms. So when you expand brackets, we can see 3 terms. So this is a trinomial. So we'll first expand brackets and see. So you get x squared plus 5x minus 14. Now what you do? Find the factors of minus 14x squared and split the middle term. So what are the factors of minus 14? So 7 and 2. But we know the middle term is positive, means the larger number should be positive. So plus 7x and minus 2x. So split the middle term to 7x minus 2x. Take first 2 separately, last 2 separately. I can take x out and write x plus 7. So here I can take minus 2 out and write x plus 7. So here x plus 7 is common, take it out and write the remaining part inside other brackets. So you get x minus 2. Now look at this one. Square term is there and 2 terms. So here look at the second term. You can write as square number. So that means this is definitely difference between two square terms. So what you can write first? You can write this one square term minus 2 squared because 2 squared is 4. Now we can straight away apply the formula. Write down the first term, write down the last term. One is positive, one is negative. Now you can simplify. So what's the simplified form? You get 2x, 2 minus 1 is plus 1, 2x and minus 1 minus 2 becomes minus 3. Now we'll look at question number 2. Factor the following expressions. There's a hint given. Take x squared equals y. Now what's the difference between previous questions and this one? We get power 4. Earlier we got power 2. So that's why the hint is given. So why the hint is given? Because this is power 4. We can use that hint to reduce to power 2. So we'll try to reduce to power 2. So we'll take x squared as y. So when you take x squared as y, what is y squared? You square this one. So x squared, so you get x4. So here instead of x4, you can write y squared. Now we know x squared is y. Now can you see this is just a trinomial. Now we can find the factors. We multiply these two, you get 6y squared. Find the factors of 6y squared and the middle term should be plus 5. That means both factors are positive. So what are the factors? I can write 3y and 2y. So split the middle term to 3y and 2y and first take the first two and the last two. So here take y out, you get y plus 3. Take 2 out, you get y plus 3. So what are the factors? Y plus 3 and y plus 2. Can you keep the answer like this? No. The question is given in terms of x. We can't keep the answer in terms of y. So we have to convert back to x. So what we can do, instead of y, we can replace with x squared. So here x squared plus 3, x squared plus 2. So this is the answer for this question. Now look at part B. So again they asked to take x squared as y. So if we take x squared as y, what is y squared? Y squared becomes x to the power 4. Now here x to the power 4 is there. So what we do? We can replace this as y squared. Then this is 2 terms. So we need to think about how to write down 16. So we can write as a square number. So here y squared minus 4 squared. This is difference between two square terms. You can straight away write down one is positive, one factor with negative sign. So here again replace y as x squared. You can write x squared plus 4, x squared minus 4. Do you think this is the final answer? What do you think? No. Can you see again we are getting two terms, two square terms. So here again we can factorize. So make sure that the final answer should be completely factorized. So here what can we do again? I can write this one as x squared minus 2 squared. Again you can write down the factors as x minus 2 and x plus 2. Now we'll take the next question. So there are 3 terms and we can see 2 is common. First thing, we can take 2 out from the whole thing. So we get x to the power 4, 7x squared plus 12. And the question says take y as x squared. Then what is y squared? That's x to the power 4. Now you can replace x to the power 4 as y squared. So here y squared plus 7y plus 12. Now this is a trinomial. Find the factors of 12. Y squared. And what are the factors? Both positive. That means the factors also positive. So factors of 12, you can write 3y and 4y. Split the middle term to 3y and 4y. Take first 2 and last 2 separately. So we can take y out, y plus 3. What's common here? You can take 4 out. So when you take 4, you get y plus 3. Then y plus 3 is common. Take it out and y plus 4 is the other factor. So here we have to write 2 here. But you can't keep the answer like this. You have to replace it with x term. So here y is x squared. We can write x squared plus 3 and x squared plus 4. Now look at this one. 2 terms. But we need to replace x4. But we know x squared is y. So what is x4? That's y squared. So we'll try to replace this. 1 squared minus 81 we can write 9 squared, and instead of x4 you can write y squared. Now we see this is difference between 2 squared terms. So we can straight away write 1 squared minus 9y whole thing squared. So we'll do difference between 2 squared terms. You can write 1 plus 9y and 1 minus 9y. So this is the answer for part D. But here you need to replace y. You can't keep the answer in terms of y. So here we'll replace y as x squared 1 minus 9 x squared. What do you think about the answer? Is this the final one? Look carefully. Again we see difference between 2 squared terms. So you have to factorize it again. So here first term you can't factorize because plus sign is in the middle. But here again we can factorize. So we can write as 3x. I can write 3x whole thing squared instead of 9x squared. And what are the factors? 1 plus 9x squared and 1 is plus and the other one is negative. So you get 3 factors for this question. In this chapter, we covered factorization of trinomials and difference between 2 squared terms. So follow my instructions and I hope that you can do all these exercises and examples in your textbook for finding factors for algebraic expressions.